Hey everyone, welcome to the Sunflower Seams December Sew Along. As we go into the most wonderful time of the year, we also know that that can look like the most busiest time of the year. So we have decided to pick a sew along for y'all that'll be fun but short and easy to accomplish in a very short period of time. Plus, it goes along with all the festivities that you have on your mind and have waited for the last 11 months. So for this sew along, we will be doing the cinnamon stocking. Cinnamon comes in 6 options. You have the simple option, bear, cat, fox, dog, and unicorn. The simple option is a super fast sew, and the animal options are almost just as fast. Be sure to check out the sew along coupon code that is found in the group so that you can get your copy 25% off. As you know, Cinnamon just released, so you may have already purchased it on its introductory sale. If you already have it, let's go ahead and let's get started. For all options, you are going to need fabric of your choice, coordinating thread, scissors, and a water washable or water soluble pen. And you will also need either tape or a glue stick to attach your pattern pieces. Obviously, if you're using a projector, you will not need that. You also have the option to add batting to your stocking to give it a little bit more durability, but that's totally optional. If you are creating an animal option, then you will also need a few more supplies. You'll need a paper-backed fusible web or iron-on vinyl. That is your choice. I will be using Heat and Bond Light for mine. You will need embroidery floss for your animal's eyes and mouth. And you will also need medium weight interfacing if you are creating the unicorn, bear, or the fox. For this tutorial, the best fabrics for your cinnamon stocking will be any kind of woven cottons, flannels, or knits. If you're choosing to do any of the animal options, you will need a stabilizer for your knit fabric. For this sew along, I have chosen to make the fox. I was looking through fabrics at Joann's the other day and came across this really adorable set. And you can see it's got the bear, it's got a deer, even a squirrel. But you can also see that it's got like the snow fox in there. So I thought, what a cute way to just play on the fox theme than to use this animal print for the main part of my stocking. And then I got this plaid that actually matches the digital print inside of the animals. So I thought that was adorable. And this will become my scarf. And then for the lining and the face of my, or I guess the main face of my fox, I have a cream and gray for my fox's top half of his face and cheeks as well. On page 9 and 10, you will find your fabric requirements. Be sure to check that page out before you go to the store and add up all the fabric that you're gonna need. I promise you, you will underestimate for this one. So take the second that it takes to look over that, do the appropriate calculations so that you don't come home and not have enough fabric to complete this project. On page 13, you will find the print guide. Here you'll be able to look at a list of page numbers to know exactly which pages you need to print. This file is massive. Since we have so many options, a lot of the pages you may not need. So be sure to check out the print guide so that you can save some paper and save some time taping them together as well. It is highly recommended that you read steps 1 through 3 first to see which pieces need to be fused to your webbing first before you cut out your pieces. For example, since I'm doing the fox, I have the fox ear and the fox nose. The fox ear tells me to cut 2 and the fox nose tells me to cut 1. However, these need to have the Heat and Bond backing or the adhesive to the back. So you don't want to cut them out first. You want to take a square piece of your fabric, fuse it to your webbing, and then trace it to the back of the paper, cut it out, and that is how you'll create your pieces. But if you don't read steps 1 through 3 first, you won't know which pieces need to have adhesive to them. So be sure to read. It's also highly recommended that you read through the cinnamon tutorial in its entirety before you get started. That way, it just kind of helps clarify any questions that you might have before you even get started. So once you've decided which option you're gonna do, what fabrics you have selected, and which pages need to be printed off, it's now time to tape or glue your pages together. Once again, if you have a projector and that's the option you're choosing to use, then you can totally hang tight for this section. Page 40 is the page that has your 1-inch square or 5 centimeter square. It is very important to measure your squares for this step to make sure that your stocking is going to be the right proportions. I have already measured my square and it does come out to be 1 inch. I have already taped a lot of my pieces together, but I did leave my scarf long side to show you how to attach your pages together. As you can see, each page has a rectangle around it, as well as circles in each corner. Each circle contains a letter. To put these together, you will want to find the pages that have the coordinating letter inside the circle. As you can see, page 41 and 42 both have B inside their top circles and S on their bottom circles, which means that these two are going to be the ones that overlap. Now you will use your circles and the rectangle line that goes around the perimeter of your pages and line them up. I normally prefer to use a glue stick to attach my pages, but since there isn't any blending or grading involved in the cinnamon stocking, which is excellent, I'm just gonna use tape. Like I said, this is a pretty quick project, which is exactly what we all need for this holiday season. Once you have taped or glued your pages together, you will then take paper scissors and cut out your pieces. Once you have your fabric pieces cut out, then it's time to cut them out of the fabric. Be sure to make notes as to which fabrics are supposed to be which pieces. For me, my scarf is going to be my Christmas plaid. And be sure to line up your grain line correctly. This is where you will want to use your water soluble marker or pen and trace around those pieces. It is very important that once you start tracing and cutting your pattern pieces, that you read the notes on the front of each piece. The notes on the front actually tell you exactly how many to cut and what lines to cut at on the various options that you've decided to do. All options are going to need the stocking main, the stocking lining, the toe pieces, and the heel, as well as the hanger rectangle. If you are creating the animal option, then each of the main and the lining have an animal cut line that you will cut for just one side of your main and lining stocking. You also have a main animal face. For me, this one is the fox, or it's also the cat. You will also need a rectangle for your animal face. If you looked on steps 1 through 3, this is going to be a piece that's going to have the iron-on adhesive. So I just left mine a rectangle so that we can accomplish that in steps 1 through 3. You will then need your scarf centerpiece, scarf short side, and your scarf long side. If you're creating the dog, you will also need to make a separate ear portion. If you are creating your stocking with the optional batting, this is also the time for you to cut out your batting. And you have just completed day 1 of the cinnamon sunflower seam sew along. I cannot wait to get started sewing and creating this beautiful stocking.